With great power comes great responsibility. I imagine that these are words that you've heard before. If I recall, they're like the famous words that Uncle Ben says to Spider-Man or to Peter Parker. But this is true for you too. With great power, because my friend, you are so powerful. You're felt and experienced and seen and witnessed across galaxies. But it's time, this is source, it's time for you to truly acknowledge and own your power, which is that like you're in the know. Okay, you know that you're a source consciousness. You know that you are a 5D consciousness. You know that you are a heart-based consciousness. You know that anything other than love and appreciation and understanding and compassion and joy and bliss and peace, that all of that is density, and it's kind of part of the human, it's not part of the human condition, 111. It's like what I'm feeling and hearing here is like the human condition as it is meant to be for you is for your divinity to be in the driver's seat, because you came here to have a human experience, right? You came here to experience the human condition as an awakened being, right? As a human, knowing that you are consciousness. And where are they going with this? There's a lot in the field, friends. Okay. And okay, so you came here to experience and shift into consciousness being in the driver's seat, right? So this is the human condition. But the human disease was created, right? Doubt, shame, blame, guilt, fear, mistrust, 219, and that became the human disease, 222. So you have stepped out of the duality, the human disease part, and you're now like experiencing the human condition as you were meant to, as an awakened being. And this makes you extremely powerful, and it puts you in the know, the knowing that anything that you feel, anything that arises, any triggers, any anger, any resentment, any of that stuff is for you to rise above. You're being called, like the universe is holding you, right? This message has been coming through all of June. Like you can do no wrong. You're so held, you're so protected because you're so important and your destiny is divine. The outcome, like your success is imminent. Like there is absolutely nothing for you to worry about. All that is being called or asked of you is for you to create, for you to play, because you are a creator, not a consumer. And sometimes we think that we have to create by painting, by creating a video, by writing. And yes, this is creation, but you're creating your reality and co-creating the reality that everybody experiences. And this is why with great power comes great responsibility. You're really being called to rise above, to be God, to be consciousness, to be the angelic being, to be the 5D being, to be the awakened soul, whatever word resonates in each and every now moment. And that 144 may require you to rise above density. That's what you came here to do. So this message is like, other people are not in the know and you are, and it's your job, task, responsibility to reflect to the world, the universe, your knowingness, your divinity, not your trauma, not your doubt, not your fear, not your shame, not your judgment, your divinity. You are being called to hold the world, to hold the world in each and every now moment, knowing that the world is holding you. There's this complete like switcheroo. That's the word I'm hearing. This absolute switcheroo. And I know that you feel it. This transmission would not have found you if you hadn't like shifted. And this is the biggest shift that I feel that you've experienced. And I'm hearing that many of you may be experiencing some like feelings of imposter syndrome, some feelings of doubt because, well, it's not quite how you expected it to be, or it's not quite how you expected it to feel, or things along those lines. This is one of these things, or one of the many things that you're being called to rise 555 above at this time. Only you can choose. Only you can choose to go off script. Only you can choose to reclaim your power, because in this choice to rise above and to not be affected or become entangled with whatever density, trauma, because essentially I feel like many of you are having interactions with in your 3D world that may be triggering with beings that are not awake, or beings that don't resonate anymore, things like this. And it's a bit of an oil and water clash. And there's nothing wrong with the clash, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful, it's divine, it's meant to be, but you're not meant to go mixing it up with you're not supposed to be triggered by the fact that, oh, there's water and there's oil here. Oh no. You're like supposed to just hold the oil, hold the density. Not, what are you doing here? This doesn't resonate. There's this absolute I love that it's water holding oil, because water is clear, it's transparent. There's no deception like within a water, right? You can see. You could see if something was inside it. You can see there's no deception. And you're being called to really hold the world, hold everything like water would, with no deception, with no manipulation, with no. I'm feeling this King of Cups energy, right? Like you are the calm in the storm. The only thing I can really compare this to from like personal experience would be like kids when their emotional brain comes online and tantrums start happening and big feelings, and it's like a flood within their system, right? They don't know, their brains are still developing, and they cannot help what they're doing, right? They cannot help the big feelings, they cannot help what they're upset about. And it may seem very ridiculous to the adult, to the human, to the caregiver, or whatever, but they're doing exactly what they're meant to do at that juncture. And as the parent caregiver, it's your job, role, to rise above that, to not be triggered by the big feelings, the emotions, the silliness, the this, the that. No matter how like your human is feeling, you are being called to like be the rock, to be the cliff that like the ocean beats against. You're in the same breath, like in the same way that if I, with a kid, if you have these big feelings, your big feelings escalate the whole situation, right? Because suddenly your trauma is on display, you're being triggered, right? So now it's not about them, it's not about holding them. You're now like triggered. You're holding yourself more so than you're trusting that you are held, and all you are required to do is to hold whatever is taking place with love and grace. To be the safe space, and not to not to correct. Like in the same way that with a kid, you can watch any video and there's so many videos on there about how to deal with tantrums and what to do and this and that. But when a child has a tantrum, like their amygdala, like their emotional, their lizard brain, their fight and flight brain is completely online, and their rational brain has literally gone to sleep. You cannot speak to them. You cannot talk sense. You cannot say anything. There's nothing that is going in. And this is a beautiful example because you don't really need to say anything. Maybe later you can reflect to it in an example of, okay, we do it this way, or whatever, but this is in the terms of a child. With regards to the people that you're at 144, you're encountering, they witness your calm. They have the brain, their frontal cortex is still online. So they witness, they're taking in the information. There's actually nothing else that you need to do. There's no follow through required. 111, there's no follow through where you need to go and check and make sure that they saw that you were calm and that it was their trauma on display. No. 1111, it's just for you to hold them with love and grace and and know, like, in your face, right? There's this, the kid examples are coming through a lot today because this is just a lens that I can offer. When your child does something wrong, and it's not really wrong, like let's say you were saying, okay, please pick up your toys so that you don't slip on the floor, and they go, no, 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 and they come running in and they trip and they slip on the floor. The human, the ego, wants to go, see, I told you, if we don't pick up our toys off the floor, you'll fall. You're basically implying it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. But they don't have the history, the knowing, the database, right? They're still creating it. So what you're doing in that moment is manipulating, shaming, blaming, guilting, not holding. Right? Because there's this, there's a line coming to me from a book. I think it's actually the first line of a book. It's called The Domesticated Brain. Cannot remember the author. But the one, it states there's one thing that all humans across cultural lines, age, everything, right, regardless of all of that, they have in common. The desire, the need, the urge, the urgency to be right. And that's the ego. That's the mind, right? Because it is a proof collector. Your mind is constantly looking for proof to prove to you that it's right, that it's better to be this way, that it's safe to play this way. And in order to collect proof, it's collecting proof. You are here to be living proof, meaning your words are not like you shaming, blaming, telling people, correcting. That's not how you're being called to hold. That's not what you came here to do. Now, this is really just, Source wants me to clarify here. This is really just speaking to like your actual now interactions, not your whatever you're creating, because that's co-creation with Source, and that's something for you to trust. Okay, so the energy here in this reading is really you're being called to be a warrior. Okay, to really stand at the edge and to brave like whatever is coming your way and to hold it in light. Because when you hold it in light, when you interact with it from your divine self, right? Your divine self knows there is no trauma. Your divine self knows there is nothing worth getting triggered over. That there is no trigger, that there is no weapon, that there is no ammunition, and that's all a construct of the mind. So I feel like at this time, the resistance that you may meet in these intense moments is intensified on purpose. Because once you choose in these opportune moments. And I feel like this is, I'm hearing 7, like 7 days, so a week, and this message is timeless. So whenever you find it, just like the next several days, let's go with that, because several kind of keeps it a bit open-ended and my human feels more comfortable with that. The next several days, I imagine that you're going to be experiencing some beautiful divine opportunities to hold and anchor the light. And anchoring the light is really your alchemy. It's where something is happening and the feelings are stirred up, and maybe the nervous system lights up, and there's fear, and there's the brain telling you to act this way and control this and keep yourself safe by doing this. And it's where you go, no, no, no. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to be. And whatever is coming up within me, I'm going to, you can reflect on it later, depending on what's taking place. Sometimes you have some time to reflect on it in that now. Sometimes your alchemy is really alive and awake and ready. This is what I'm feeling and experiencing in my current journey, is that my alchemy is really alive and ready in these moments. And yes, there may be an urge to be pulled into the patterning, the old way of doing things. But the uncomfortability that I feel before even making that choice pulls me back to this space. And I wouldn't be sharing this if it wasn't happening in a way in some type of similar way for you, where you're really feeling the power of your choice. It's almost as if you're able to really go into that observer mode, that observer seat, and observe the self and observe the situation, to create that distance. And I feel like that's really where you're experiencing this beautiful power of your choice. 1717. I've been seeing 117 everywhere today, so that may be a resonant or relevant number for you guys or for someone here. The cards are going to come out now. So if you're still here, my name is Angela. I'm a channel of Enforced Consciousness, as are you. And I am so excited to see what's going to come through today, because this energy, like it's an energy of, like, I feel you on the other side of this. 555. I feel you on the other side of this shift. There's this divine destiny. Like you do this thing. It was always known, right? I feel like in the same way it's always been known to you, like I do the thing, I get there, I break through, I quieten in the mind, I remember my truth. Like there's this knowing within you, and that's been this driving force in the difficult times, in the dark times, in the times where everything felt too much, right? And this driving force, this unshakable truth that has been you, like within you, since birth, right? Since you took that first breath, it's lit up. Like you cannot, I just feel like it's I imagine that it might feel a bit like somebody who has multiple personality disorder, where there's like more than one of them, but somebody that is aware, where like there's interaction between the personalities. Like you feel the divine identity, the divine being that you are, and then you can feel like the human personalities. Like you can see them, you can see through them, you can sense them, you know them. And this isn't necessarily like all the light personalities. This is everything. There's an acceptance for all the parts. 942, I feel like that is a relevant, resonant number for you. Okay, so if you're able to, closing your eyes, breathing in through your nose, to your heart space, acknowledging your light, your magic, your truth, your divinity, and then surrendering to the perfection of you and your now, exactly as it is. Breathing at your own pace, just breathing into that heart space and breathing as many times as you feel called to. One more. Yeah, friends, I apologize for the noise upstairs. I will try and edit it out. Okay, the King of Cups. Okay, there's no water here. This is the steampunk tarot. But do you see how relaxed he is? He's got a cigar, he's got a drink, and the energy here is like the cigar is like a celebratory cigar. It's something, you know, like when I don't know, you see in movies and stuff, like some people have this tradition. I don't know, when they've closed a business deal, or even like when somebody gets married, I think the best man buys everyone cigars. So cigars are like this long-standing thing of success, of sharing success, of acknowledging success. And with this cup, it's like it's cheers. This you do this, you've done it, it's done. All that is required now is for each and every now version of you to choose this truth, to choose this way, to hold, to be the light. How I love this for you, friends. So, and I'm getting chills everywhere. So there's this beautiful quote from Cryon. Lee Carroll is the human that channels Cryon. And I used to, and the beginning of my journey was something I used to listen to. And one of the quotes that stuck with me was darkness shapes light. Okay. I'm feeling the opposite here. Like you were shaped by the darkness. Okay, that was what you came here. That was like why you're a chosen one, because you chose to be shaped, to remember through difficulty, through pain, through trauma, through all of this, because you wouldn't remember your purpose, which is so like impactful, so big, if you didn't have this experience, if you didn't have this lens, which is unique to you, right? Nobody else has it. It's just you. There's only one you. And you are now, people are not in this new era, in this new earth era. Yes, there's there's quantum physics and the reflection and all of that, and these other beings that are waking up will, you know, in the same way that you did, have their limitations reflected to them in their reality. But unlike you, who like came here to that had to suffer alone, that had to be shaped by darkness, they get to be shaped by light, and held by light, by new earth energy. They don't have to wake up in the dark, right? They don't have to wake up through pain. They don't have to wake up the way that you did, because you chose to be shaped by dark. Let's see what else we've got here. We've got the Seven of Pentacles, the High Priestess, the King of Pentacles, the Justice card, and the Nine of Cups. As I picked her up, it's like, hooray! The Nine of Cups for me is always the bliss before a bliss card. It's the knowingness. It's the knowing that you're going to arrive at the bar or wherever and the drinks are going to be poured, or that they'll have your favorite thing. It's the knowing. It's just knowing. And Source is really calling and asking you to give yourself permission to embody this knowingness, because it is that knowingness, moving from that place of knowing, that you really get to birth the unknown into the world. I love here that she's kind of throwing tarot decks onto the scales of justice. There's gems and there's a feather. Again, the feather seems to weigh the same as the gems. Like the scales of justice are tipped in your favor. But also what I'm picking up here, it's this throwing away or not needing to know. When I first, and I imagine that this is the case for more than just me, when I first got into tarot, it was it was to know, it was to be able to predict my future. And that's what I feel like is really being thrown out the window. This needing to know, this needing to have all the answers, this needing to know the outcomes, this needing to know how things are going to work out, as opposed to just trusting that the scales are tipped in your favor, that it's always going to be equal, that there's no better, no worse, that when you move from this place of knowingness, right, I don't need to know because I know that the unknown is always going to be for me, is always going to be resonant, is always going to be a place that I feel called to play in. We have this high priestess here who's also, right, this divination, the crystal ball, the tarot cards. I feel that I'm speaking to a collective of beings who don't need to have the proof before they move. They've given themselves, or they're giving themselves permission to be the living proof, to like conquer the mind. We have the King of Pentacles and the King of Cups. Okay, he is smoking like an intricate pipe and standing there. I'm really called to like this book of Pentacles. But I'm feeling mastery, I'm feeling wisdom. I see you as being this King of Pentacles, as being this calm source of light, of heat, of warmth. Of the word tenderness is coming through. Gentle, almost as if like somebody tending to somebody by a sickbed, like this understanding, this compassion, this like, I know you're suffering, you're still suffering from the human disease, and that I'm free from it, and I'm gonna hold you in the way that I wish I had been held, or I could have been held when I was remembering my oneness. This is this energy that I'm feeling like you're done waiting for the proof. You're done waiting for all like the resources. You're ready to be the proof. You're ready to allow the universe, your reality, to rearrange around these decisions that you are feeling called to make. Right? The Seven of Pentacles, there is growth, and can you see there's light streaming through? There's so much light streaming through that it might even be blinding. Like you can't, like if you're driving and the sun's rising and suddenly you can't see everything, you might have to put your visor down or put your sunglasses on. You're a little bit like a blinding light right now. It's beautiful. You're so magnetic. Your light is literally emanating, like it's permeating through your human being. You are the source of light to the point that you're a little bit blinding. So some people might initially, that's what I'm getting. It's like, oh, like I'm quite a energetic being by nature, and I can also feel the energy. And I know that sometimes I can enter a room and my energy is a little bit too much for that room. And I don't need to make myself smaller for this. It's just something that I notice. And this is kind of this thing here. It's like somebody waking up, it's still dark, and the curtain's just being pulled open. And it's a little bit, so like people might need to adjust to this new version of you, to this version you're giving yourself permission to be. Trust that, friends. Trust that. See, he's got a pen there. He's studying. Trust it. There's no need to analyze. I'm going to just pull a clarifier here. There's no need to analyze what's taking place. There's no need to know how it's going to figure itself out. Judgment and the Six of Pentacles. Okay, books on these scales and coins there. What I feel here is that you're going to be paid to exist. Your wisdom, your experience. As soon as you give yourself permission to create for creation's sake, to play for the sake of playing, because you feel called to. I feel with this Judgment, it's like you no longer need validation. It's not so much that you were being maybe judgmental, but there was this, if I do this, there is an expectation of something. Like almost like creating so that, okay, I'm going to create this so that people will see it and book readings and I can pay my rent. That's the human, that's the brain, that's the matrix, like planning. There's this like dead end, this stop point of like, I feel called to create. Okay, let me create for creation's sake. Let me create for the pure bliss of it, with the knowingness that that's all I need to do, and I will be divinely compensated in every resonant way should I continue to give myself permission to play in this way. Your joy, the pure pleasure that you experience when you create something, that is enough. That is more than enough. And that remembrance and that gift that you gift yourself, it's what opens the doors. I almost am seeing these angel wings like closing as if they're covered, and I'm remembering there's an angel or a feather here, like on the scale. I feel like feathers might be of synchronicity to you. Like you might go outside and see 2 feathers or 3 feathers or something along those lines. But there's this like revealing of the angelic you. It's like, okay, this will resonate or it won't. I'm almost feeling like this being is like your higher self, your oversoul, like the infinite wisdom that you are. And when the wings are closed, it's you still resisting or doubting or questioning the infinite wisdom that you are, the source consciousness that you are, whatever word resonates, the divine being that you are. And it's just being me, just being the divine me that I am, that I feel called to be, the authentic me, 3333, is all that I need to do. That is enough. Like anything more is forcing, anything more is like maybe problem solving or doing it for another reason. But if I'm doing it just because I feel called to and for the joy that it brings me, and that is enough in itself, and it always was. That's when you begin to see, that's when the reflection shifts in your reality, okay, where you begin to really experience yourself as the divine creator that you are. Okay, is there anything else in the tarot? Queen of Swords, Seven of Cups. I love this for you. I do, because it's really where there is no, can you see there's one hand? Like, yes, she's the queen and she may have been sitting there watching for somebody watching for somebody to come up and ask for her hand to dance. Okay, many suitors may have come up and asked and offered, but she's Yeah, she's always known, right? In the same way that that Seven of Cups just fell out my hand under the couch. You know what is for you. You know which dance you want to dance. Um, Procrastination and confusion, these tools that the Matrix has used possibly throughout your this experience, like they're no longer working because there is this knowing, there is this remembrance, there is this but there's something more. There is this, what I'm getting here is this absolute unshakable remembrance and knowing of what you deserve, what is for you, what is not, what is resonant, what is not. And you're choosing resonance over like remembrance. And this isn't the remembrance in the like divine sense where you're remembering your divinity. This is like remembrance as in like the reinforcing of the illusion, of the paradox, of the Eight of Swords energy. It's like if she kept dancing with the person or people that she didn't want to dance with, right, she might never be available to dance with the person that really calls to her. She's going to be stuck dancing with all those people because she keeps saying yes. And I feel that you know what yes is a yes for you and what is not. And you've given yourself permission to trust that these moves, while they may seem small in the 3D world, while they may be triggering to some people, these moves that are true to you, it's like it's the only way it feels good for you to move. Right? It's almost as if like whenever she says yes to somebody that doesn't resonate, the music that is played is like a song that she doesn't like. Everything is just meh. Okay. And when she says yes, she knows. Like yes to the yes, the actual yes, she can feel or he can feel. Okay. So you're being called to hold and to move in, hold the light, to be the light that like holds the darkness, that isn't afraid to be seen by the darkness, right? Because for the darkness to be held by the light must first be fully bright, like be illuminated, like the switch turned on. And the imagery that's here is quite beautiful. I see like a bedside lamp or just some type of lamp and the switch going on, off, on, off, on, off. And it's like, it's time for you to choose to just be fully on. And it's like you break the switch, like there's no more off for you. There's no more dimming your light. Because you're not dimming your light to fit in, right? You're not fitting in. That's the thing. That's the paradox. It's like we hear don't dim to fit in. And when it's like when you dim, when you try to fit in, like you're doing the opposite. You can never fit into those boxes. That's the paradox. That's the limiting belief. That's the lie that you could ever fit in, make yourself small enough, alter yourself in the ways that the old earth society required for you to be like fully accepted. And old earth energy, right? You dimming was never what you were meant to do. That's why, in a way, you never fully went to sleep. This flickering light, there was always a part of you that was awake, aware, even if you didn't know what it was or what these feelings of safety that you had, where they came from. I can resonate with this. Like as a child, there was just stuff that I knew and I trusted, and I moved in that way. At the age of 6, I knew that my home environment was not good for me. So I got my parents to send me off to boarding school. And I mean, I imagine making that move now. Like I had, yes, there was fear, yes, there was this, but I still remember the knowingness. And I've always had this thing. It came always in extreme things, and often when I'd resisted for a while, but there was always this knowingness that everything would be okay. I used to also, and I imagine you did too, until people judged you for it, had this ability, wait, I'm in trouble, I did something wrong, I'm punished, this, that, fine. I'd cry for a little bit and then it would be all gone. Maybe all kids are like this. And then I was judged for it, like by my family members. Oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not. And I was kind of made aware of how abnormal my okayness was. So then I created this false illusion that I wasn't okay and I believed it, right? And entered depression and blah, blah, blah. And I imagine that for some of you, your journey or your experience may have weaved in this way. 1, the sun, soulless. And no, not this one. Okay. I'm being told to read this card first and then to draw. Okay. So as I picked up sun, anyway, this little card was in there on that page. So your hard work doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you, the universe. But as I picked up this card, it's you're ready to be the one, the divine one that you are. Expression, vitality, identity. Each morning, the sun graces the night sky, summoning the dawn. Such is the energy of the sun card. With its arrival is an activation and a presence of vitality, of new beginnings. It is said the sun is linked to the hero archetype and the yang dynamic in Chinese alchemy. Through the sun's radiance, we are inclined to see ourselves fully and establish a sense of who we are. We gain confidence and clearer vision. In its light, we are assured that we too have an important role in the world. Associated with masculine dynamics, the sun card certainly carries a risk if not kept in check. Remember, the sun never actually sets. It is the earth that pivots away. Assess whether it's time for you to awaken more fully or to turn away and rest. Sunburns humble us all. Friends, I also, as this rest came through, this is not a time of forcing. This is a time of resonant action. So when you feel called to pause and rest, trust, because there's a lot of recalibration that is taking place at this time. Like I saw, as I said, recalibration. I saw this triangle, all the lines disappear, and then like them kind of coming in. So there's recalibration. The points are being met, checkpoints are being like connected. Consider how reliable the sun is. It does the same work every day. In what way can you be more consistent in your rhythms? How reliable are you? On that note, friends, when you make a commitment to yourself, okay, I give myself permission to create content every day for this week or this 11 days or whatever, or I choose to go for a walk every day, or I choose to meditate before I take my shower, or whatever it is. The commitment that you have made is to yourself, the one, to God. And the only person that, like, it's not about disappointing, it's not about like not honoring the commitment, it's about giving your body permission to relearn new patterns, to know that when you make a promise to yourself, that you honor it. 4411, that you maintain it, that you follow through with it. And then you trust yourself more. The more you trust yourself, the more you trust everything. So honor the commitments that you make to yourself, and you are being called to commit to yourself in more than one way. That's the feeling here in any case. When the sun card appears in a reading, think of it as a tone setter for the rest of the cards. It lightens the scene, bringing energy and clarity to the entire reading. Spring, new season, but not the card for today. There you go. Leucosis. Lightning. Number 8. Aging, transitioning, warning, indicating transition. The yellowing leads us to the next phase. Oh, wait. No, friends. Sorry. Wrong one. There we go. Perfectionism, facade, hesitation. The stage of leucosis is a complex topic in alchemy. On the one hand, it represents purification of the materials. On the other hand, it's the phase in which the alchemist may mistake the work as complete. On the surface, everything seems perfect, pristine, well thought through, and quite complete. In actuality, the alchemist has been tricked by their own facade of perfection. Their work has hardly begun. Righteousness and fear are the great errors of leucosis. This card arrives to remind us to get our hands dirty. No one is separate or above anyone else. Rather, every alchemist is a kid in the laboratory, tinkering away with the elements of their life. No more fretting over your next move, fearing how others will perceive you. It's time to crack open, become who you are. The world needs your true colors. Go deeper, look at the Brancusi sculpture Newborn from 1915 to ponder the wisdom of dawn. Leucosis is related to the alchemical operation of calcinatio. If these cards appear together, let's just see what's at the bottom here. No. But Venus is there, friends, and Venus is very active at the moment. So cosmically, this is a time for creation. This is a time for trust. This is like a time for passion and excitement and love. And like, it's like almost like romance, but the romantic relationship is with yourself. You know, okay, I don't know if it was like this for you, but in my younger years, when I started a new relationship, I was really shy. So I would never really make requests of, oh, I want that food or let's do that. I would very much go with the flow, but just to try and like fit in, right? Or not even fit in, but just, yeah, to try and keep the peace, to try and not be the one that says other, all of that. And imagine that you're starting like a relationship with yourself and you really want to be the best version. But it's not a fake version. It's the truest version of you, the most authentic version. It's like you're being called to fall in love with yourself, the you that you truly are. And until you do that, like the world can't follow suit. Okay. Leucosis is related to the alchemical operation, of calcinatio. If these cards appear together, it is a sign that things may have calcified, implying a kind of build-up or rigidity. The black canvas is a great example of leucosis. It's terrifying to start for fear of making the blank canvas, but there are no accidents. The black canvas, right? The darkness that you're being called to hold. The blank canvas is a great example of leucosis. It's terrifying to start for fear of making a mistake. Today is the day. Make mark. Begin the work. Okay, friends. I have been... Oh, sorry. I did not prepare this deck. I have been taking a few of these cards. This is the Golden Future Oracle, just because I feel called to, and why not? Sorry, I see that this is an extremely long message. Okay, so let's see what wants to come through for you. Health and healing. Tune in to your divine blueprint. Friends, creation is one of the most beautiful, connected ways to heal. Co-creation with source. Animals, honor the animal kingdom. Specifically, I'm like getting this vibe of cats. We've got unicorns at the bottom. Spread the light of the unicorns. And here, clothing. These two came out yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. This one definitely did. Let your outer express your inner. Be the light. Be the light in the darkness. Yes, you're going to be seen. Yes, the darkness may scurry. Trust that this is what is meant to be. There is nothing that you're being called to do except to be the truest version of you that you can be in each and every now moment. I'm being called to end today's transmission right there. Thank you, beautiful, magical, divine one, for co-creating this message with me. This was a fun one. Thank you for being you. Your light, your energy, there's just this, it's like looking up at the sky and seeing a shooting star. Like that's you. You came here to see. You came here to be witnessed. 555 blessings and love, magical divine one. Bye bye.